base of the midfield for the USA.
Anthony Robertson had covered in this, crunched in Australia.
Let me ask you something. What does it look like when a nation stops hoping and starts believing? Because on June 19th, 2026, inside a rocking Seattle stadium, the United States men's national team didn't just win a football match, they rewrote history, and they did it without their biggest star. No Christian Pulisic, no problem. That was the message Mauricio Pochettino's side sent to the entire world on a Friday night that Seattle will not forget for a very long time. A 2-0 victory over Australia, 6 points from 2 group games, and an early ticket punched into the round of 32, the first time in American soccer history that the USMNT has qualified for the knockout stages with a group game still to play. Let that sink in. First time ever. The atmosphere before kickoff was absolutely electric. 68,000 fans packed into Seattle Stadium, draped in red, white, and blue. This was a home World Cup, and these supporters were ready to make every single decibel count. Australia came in their Socceroos hungry. They needed points, they needed a result, they needed something. But the United States had other plans entirely. From the first whistle, the USMNT pressed with intensity, high, aggressive, relentless pressing that suffocated Australia's ability to build from the back. Pochettino set up his side to dominate possession and transition quickly, and within 11 minutes, the breakthrough arrived. Here is where it gets dramatic. Folarin Balogun, the man who torched Paraguay with 2 goals in the opener, picked up the ball wide on the left. He drove, he surged, he forced his way down the line with that electric pace of his and whipped a low cutback ball right across the 6-yard box. And Australian center back Cameron Burgess, under pressure, under duress, trying to do the right thing, put it straight into his own net, own goal. Burgess, 11th minute, 1-0 United States. The Seattle crowd erupted, the stadium shook, and Australia, they were rattled from that very moment. But the real story of this match, the story that will be told for decades in American soccer, was what happened in the 43rd minute. And for that, we need to talk about a young man named Alex Freeman, 21 years old, son of former NFL legend Antonio Freeman, who once had his own iconic moment on a football field, not a soccer pitch, but an American football field in this very city. And now the son was writing his own chapter on the same ground, in front of the same city, in the biggest sporting event on planet Earth. Here is how the goal unfolded. Serginho Dest drove forward and unleashed a shot that deflected wildly into the air. Freeman had timed his run perfectly, ghosting in between defenders, reading the flight of the ball with the instincts of someone who has dreamed of this moment their entire life. He rose, he headed it, the ball crashed into the back of the net, the stadium lost its mind. But wait. The flag went up, offside, the goal was disallowed on the field. Freeman stood there with his arms out, questioning the call. His teammates stood still, caught between celebration and heartbreak. And then, the VAR screen, the review, the longest seconds in the history of Alex Freeman's life. And then the signal, goal confirmed, 2-0, United States. What happened next was pure, unfiltered, beautiful chaos. Freeman's teammates sprinted toward him from every direction. He started running away. He literally said after the match, "I saw all my teammates running, and I thought, I've got to run away. They're going to tackle me." The bench exploded. The fans were on their feet. And somewhere in the stands, Antonio Freeman was watching his son score his first ever World Cup goal on a field in the same city where Dad once made magic of his own. Freeman told Fox Sports after the match, "At first it was disallowed, so I was anxious when it went to VAR. But I'm happy I was able to contribute to the win. It was so emotional for me, because you dream of this moment, and for it to finally happen with such a support system makes it so much more special. Full circle, father to son, Seattle to Seattle." The second half told a completely different story in terms of pace, but the same story in terms of result. Australia manager Tony Popovich made 3 substitutions at halftime, throwing everything he could at the problem. The Socceroos began to press higher, began to find some rhythm, but Matt Freese in the American goal was barely troubled. The United States defense was organized, disciplined, composed. They absorbed whatever Australia threw at them and never once looked like conceding. Let's talk about what this shutout means. The USMNT had not kept a clean sheet in 10 matches, 10 going all the way back to September of last year. And here, on the biggest stage on the planet, against a physical, organized Australian side that had qualified through one of the toughest confederations in football, Pochettino's backline stood firm. Not for 1 minute, not for 2 halves, for 90 minutes. 0 shots conceded of any real danger, 0 goals, 0 zilch. Statistically, this was a dominant, commanding performance. The United States won the possession battle, finished with 10 attempts at goal across the 90 minutes, and, most crucially, converted exactly when it mattered. The XG from Australia across the entire match was just 0.32. This was not a close game. This was a statement. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, because this is where things get truly, genuinely historic. The United States have now won back-to-back games at a World Cup for the first time since 1930, the very first World Cup ever played. Think about that number, 96 years. They had to wait 96 years to do it again. And they did it on home soil, in front of their own fans, in a group stage performance that has sent shockwaves through the tournament. They go to the top of Group D with 6 points. They are guaranteed to advance as at minimum one of the best third-place teams. And if Turkey fails to beat Paraguay in the other Group D match, the United States will finish top of the group outright, which sets them up for a third-place team opponent in the round of 32, the softest possible draw you could hope for at this stage. Christian Pulisic missed this match with that calf injury he picked up against Paraguay. And every analyst, every pundit, every fan had the same concern. How do you replace the captain? How do you replace the heartbeat? The answer, apparently, is that you don't replace him. You just unleash the rest of the squad and let them show the world what this team is truly made of. Balogun forcing the own goal, Freeman scoring the header, Dest creating with his driving run. This is a squad, a genuine, deep, dangerous squad. Pochettino has built something here. Whether it was bringing Freeman through from his international debut at the Gold Cup, trusting Balogun as the lead striker, or organizing a defensive unit that just posted its first shutout in nearly a year, this manager has his players believing. And in a home World Cup, belief is everything. For Australia, the journey continues with uncertainty. They remain in contention, but they will need results to go their way. They showed some fight in that second half, some moments of quality, but they were ultimately outclassed by a team that is playing with real purpose, real structure, and real momentum. The round of 32 awaits the United States. And right now, there is not a single team in this tournament that wants to face them. Seattle Stadium just became the loudest place on earth for 90 minutes. Alex Freeman just became a World Cup hero. And the USMNT just told the entire planet, we are here, we are ready, and we are not going anywhere. This is American soccer's moment, and it has only just begun.